The Wallabies sneak away with a 7-point win over the Bok women in Cape Town, and the English Red Roses prove why they are the best team in the world, once again thumping the Black Ferns in WXV1. But now they face the home team, the unbeaten Canucks, 1 versus 2. Who will finish champions and favourites leading into World Cup year? Hey guys, welcome to Rugby Heads, powered by the Pig Athletic Club. My name is Sione, and joining me is our regular rugby nerds, Alex Ironside, Alfonso Horomia, and Nemani Nandolo. Welcome, boys. Welcome.
Sorry, you go against.
No, you're all right. You're all right.
I was meant to hang that up. Have kids, I reckon.
Oh, you leave that in, I reckon.
Yeah, leave that in. Quick little rundown before we get into it. We start off with our top performers of the week, our opportunity to give flowers to the players that stood out for us over the weekend's play. And then we dive in around the grounds, dissect the All Blacks and Wallabies Spring Tour selections, debrief the action from the WXV series, and gloss over the URC, English Prem, and Top 14. And of course, we finish off with our viewers' questions. Now, Nems, you want to kick us off with your top performer of the week?
He played for the Irish team, the Irish B team. Is it the A team? He's a Kiwi guy, Sean Jensen. He's from Otago. He actually came over, was from Leicester, and then went over. He's obviously got Irish heritage, and good to see him finally in an Irish jersey. I've been speaking to him personally, and that's always been his. I guess his plan since he's gone over to Europe. So my one is Sean Jensen from Ireland.
Oh, nice.
But still a hoary as accent. So
who did they play? Is that the Western Force game?
Yeah, emerging Irish.
Emerging Irish there. So
nice. And Fons, who stood out for you over the weekend?
It was someone from the Renfrew Shield game, the Taranaki fly half, Josh Jacobs. He 17 points, man. He played well. The Taranaki team, they just beefed up against Tasman. I didn't think anyone was going to beat Tasman, especially at Nelson. But he's also named for the All Blacks 15, which we'll touch base a bit later on.
Yeah, nice, good shout. He's actually had a good season as well. And Ironside, who's your performer?
One of my favourite guys is back playing rugby again, and I wouldn't say that he was the top performer of the week by any stretch, but to come back from an injury, Cam Roygard for Counties came on, scored an awesome try, just back doing exactly what he move. I mean, coming off a knee injury, to see someone dip, ducking and diving around all the players, good to see. Straight back in the All Black squad as well, which I saw. He's easily got the opportunity to be one of the best nines in the world coming off this injury. So, good to see Cam back. Terrifies me as a Wallabies fan, but let's see him back and let's keep watching him, man.
Yeah, at least the Wallabies don't have to play him until next year. My one was, you guys probably know her as Sylvia Brunt, but us close to her, we know her as Longoi Pilotu Lemapu Atai'i Brunt. She was one of the standouts. They did go down to England on the weekend, the Black Ferns, but for a 20-year-old, she's got a mature head on her shoulders, and the line she runs is world class. Her defense is harder than her actual name to pronounce, and she doesn't know it yet, but she's actually my best friend. So shout out to the Black Ferns. I know they went down but in the last 2 games, but Sylvia's been one of the best performers in WXV1 the last 2 weeks. So shout out to Longoi Pilotu Lemapu Atai'i. I practice, so I've got to say it as much as I can. So but we'll go around the grounds, dive in the All Blacks, name their squad, and the All Blacks 15 name their squad as well. Fons, as our Kiwi over here, mate, thoughts on the squad and any surprises?
No, not too many surprises at all. I think it's quite a safe squad, you would say. The only obviously inclusion there I saw was Roydgard coming in, and obviously Noah Hotham drops back to the 15. I don't have an issue with it because I think Hotham will get more game time down in that team below. Yep. Because he hasn't played, apart from that second half and that Shield challenge on the weekend, he hasn't played since May, since the Crusaders got knocked out. Well, actually, he played against Fiji, but before that was May. So he hasn't had much game time. So, I thought Razor might have looked to... I wasn't sure if he was going to pick Sam Cane and Perenara, seeing that they're going next year. to Japan, but that picking them shows me they just want to go there and win. They're not looking at about next year. They're looking at winning over in Europe. So they got obviously 3 games in 12 days. The first 3 games there, obviously England, Ireland, and France. So it doesn't get much harder than that over there. Also, they're taking 36. So obviously they've dropped George Bauer. I've seen there. So they've gone to obviously one less prop, but they've also got I think 6 back rowers if I was reading it off the team list. So it's quite a big squad, and no surprises really. Just obviously Kane and Petinara's there, and good to see Cam Roygaard, what Ironside was saying, coming off the bench, and hopefully he gets a bit more game time before the end of the year.
Yeah, and Nems, your thoughts on both teams?
Look, the Cam Roygaard, is Counties his actual team?
Yeah, Counties is NPC side. He got picked up from Counties into the Hurricanes.
Oh, right. Well, I say that is but it's predominantly a Pacific Islander team, and to see, he was a difference when he came on, when he played, but it's good to see that. Good to see some colour. Look, I'm really excited about the All Blacks XV.
Yeah.
There's some talent in there. Good to see Kini Naholo get rewarded. Yeah. I thought maybe he's been playing really well, obviously, with the Hurricanes, and Naki's just demolishing a lot of everyone in his way. Peter Luckeye, he's another guy that I'm happy, won't be long till he'll be in the All Blacks. Fonzie, you probably, I think he's probably, in that waiting line to get a crack. Yeah. But this Northern Tour squad, I think they're going to do really well over there. I think they're playing Munster and Georgia in Montpellier. So, this Northern Tour is actually, a lot of them are good enough to play for the All Blacks, you know what I mean? So don't be surprised if there is a few injuries. These guys will get called in. So, I actually like this Northern Tour, or this idea of the All Blacks 15 Northern Tour. I actually like it.
Yeah, and Ironside, your thoughts, and how do you think the team will go?
I think I was watching a few interviews today. Razor getting an interview about his back row, and I guess it's not a great, it's not the best All Black side we've seen, and but geez, they're pretty lucky with their back rows they've got. Hoskins should go to England, like we've been saying, if he's not going to get picked. But
or Fiji, but yeah.
Or Fiji, but
more money in England, but wait there.
Well, that's
let's face it.
Say it. But I think it's just really cool. They've got Blackadder at Sevilla that can play 6, 7, 8. They've got 2 blokes that can play all positions, and going up against 3 southern northern hemisphere teams that you might want to pick a bigger back row, whatever you want to do. They've got so many options in that back row. I thought and this is what we've talked about last couple of weeks. Thought Jimmy Tavatavanawa might go for an All Blacks jersey, but I've seen that he obviously didn't get picked in that the XV team, and looks like he might be picked up by the Fijian squad that's going to tour in the Northern Hemisphere. But a cool story I did see was Fabian Holland from Otago, who's Dutch-born. Yeah. The NZ Rugby Unions dipped, duck and dived and got him to get a Kiwi qualified now, so he qualifies for the All Blacks, and he's only 21 years old, and he's a massive unit playing the second row. So, they keep churning out these blokes that seemingly come out of the woodwork sometimes, or seemingly come from Sioni's second home, Dutch from Holland. So, just interesting to see. But, this, as Nem said, these XVs is such a good idea. It means there's going to be like over 50 contracted New Zealand players, and Australia's doing a similar thing going to Europe. So you never know the opportunities of coming up and down, who gets injured. Couple tough training sessions over there in the cold. You never know who might get called up. So, no surprises, but just how lucky in New Zealand sometimes we forget how lucky they are.
Just on that Ironside, the young kid you spoke about from he's from, where is he, from Dutch, from Netherlands.
From Dutch, the Netherlands.
Yeah, I didn't know they had an All Blacks academy over there.
Yeah, yeah. They couldn't get enough from Tonga, Fiji, and Samoa. They had to go to the Northern Hemisphere.
There's a few All Blacks academies around the world. A few in Tonga, a few in Samoa.
They're branching out to the Netherlands now. So.
Yeah, there's that German one in the Blues who also qualifies now because he went to school. He came over to go to school. So mate, All Blacks, mate.
To go to school out of all countries in the world. I'm sure New Zealand have all.
Mate, that Fabian, the bloke that's from Holland,
he's good.
From the Netherlands. He's 6'8".
Yeah,
like he's 21. He's only going to get more on his frame. So.
Yeah, unlucky Netherlands. They needed some good locks too. But it was funny when you brought up Hoskins because, we spoke about Hoskins going to England a few episodes ago, and before the All Blacks 15 team was named today, Akira actually shared our little post and the little teaser thumbnail that we did with Hoskins in the English jersey, just because he didn't make the All Blacks touring squad. But it's good to see Hoskins in the 15s jersey. But does anyone know if he does play for that 15s, does that make it he can't play for England?
Oh, yeah, because they play Georgia.
Yeah, true.
I think you're
going to say the same thing. I don't think it's a test match because obviously they're not. It's not
Aussie counts.
It doesn't people can play. Like for example, people can play under 20s for Australia and then go play for Fiji a couple of years later. So I don't think it doesn't really.
Did they change it? Because Aussie used to count because a lot of the fobs that played Aussie A couldn't play for Tonga.
Yeah, the 18.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Is this an 18?
Yeah,
I guess so.
Well, technically it is, isn't it?
Yeah,
just like the Junior All Blacks back in the days, those boys couldn't play for Samoa, like Fruin and all them.
I'd rather it be called the All Black A's or something than the XV. I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, kind of hope that it doesn't take away his qualification. If he doesn't get chosen for the All Blacks,
to Fiji,
then he could go to the next World Cup and go to Fiji or whatever.
But even on him, he's a boy amongst men. He's a man amongst boys. Sorry, playing in the NPC. Like he's obviously head and shoulders above a lot of blokes out there, and I mean, if he wants to play for the All Blacks, so he should be in there or given an opportunity. He may as well have a crack at this XV team and just show how good he is.
Just prove the coaches wrong, I reckon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was reading the comments were pretty ruthless.
Just touching back on Tomosi there, what you're talking about. I think he's injured. I've seen him in a knee brace. That's why he hasn't been playing for Tasman.
By the way, rumours that the Fijian Byrne is that his name? The Fijian coach is after Jimmy Tavatavanawai, Jacob Ratu, Matavuki Neepkins as well, and a few of the other boys.
He'd be so good in the Fiji jersey.
How good would that be?
Yeah.
I think Fiji's taken. I was reading that same probably article, but I think Fiji's taken a bigger squad than they normally would. So that's probably a good opportunity for a few of those guys like that.
Mate, Fiji is just scary. I don't want to go into it, but yeah, they're scaring me. All the development boys that they're signing, those boys would have came to Australia. So yeah, mate, they're cutting our pathways out. So I don't like it.
To think they're paying for free as well, ain't it? So.
Allegedly.
Last 20 years, but no.
The Wallabies are yet to name their squad, but names. Who are you expecting to see there, or do you think there's going to be any surprises?
Look, one person I would love to see in a Wallaby setup, and he's been playing well, is Harry Potter.
Yes, Force.
Mate, the he's a wizard. Anyway, he
kick chase wizard. Yeah.
No, he's look. He played 13 2 weeks ago. I think he'll be. I'd like to see him in the Wallaby squad. I don't think there'll be many changes. To be fair, like if there's other guys you wouldn't bring. No one's really been playing. Like it's not like the IT. We have ITM. We don't probably have the same luxuries as the All Blacks, but I'd like to see Harry Potter in there. Some of the Force boys have been playing. They've been playing, so maybe they might get a look in. But for me, it would be Harry Potter and Nick Dolly. I don't know if he's eligible to play for Australia. Played for England. Played former Leicester Tigers.
Where's he? Is he in Force as well?
He's at the Force, so I think he comes eligible in November to play back with the Wallabies. So he played 2 tests with England, or 3 tests.
Yeah.
He's from Eastwood. He's an Eastwood boy. So,
All right, there you go.
Hooker-wise, I think he'll be – and he's been playing as well. He's been starting with the Force. So, the Force probably have that luck where they've got some game time. There's a few guys in the Wallaby squad that didn't make the Wallabies that have been playing in South Africa with the Force team. So, I'd like to see those two guys get a nod. But, I don't think it'll be much of a change. Do you guys? I don't know. I think the Wallaby squad won't change as much, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, Harry Potter's a good shout because Harry Potter played well. Onside, what are your thoughts on?
I think that they should bring Tane Edmund in. I mean, you can only go off what he's been playing like, and we haven't. I don't think they're like settled on a back line or a 10. And I mean, they're going to have they've got the Wallabies XV or the Wallaby A, whatever they're calling it, opportunity. But I don't know. I don't see why we've been talking about how we're building for this Lions tour. Why we're not going to just give someone like him a crack? Like if he's playing good footy, let's get him in. Let's get him in when he's playing good footy with a bit of confidence. I'd like to see him. And I mean, this is a bit of a long shot. And there's a bit of Norse bias here, but Max Bury's been playing some good footy for the Force, and he got man of the match. And he's still quite a young. I've known him for a long time. He's been around for a long time. He's still quite a young bloke. And at 10, I think that he's got an opportunity in that XV team. But we're looking for options at 10, and not that we want to go away from Noah. These are just different options. And just a little bit of a bolter. He's been playing pretty good for Hawke's Bay's Ben O'Donnell, who's a Brumbies, played Aussie Sevens, played for Connacht. He's been playing for Hawke's Bay. He's been playing some good footy as well. If this is the whole idea of we're building for a Lions tour, I think we're going to take a bigger squad. And I think one surprise I did see this today was I know we gave Mark over early to the Roosters, and I reckon that was because they were going to let Suwali come over earlier. And I did read that that Suwali's going to get released from the Roosters pretty imminently. I don't see why you wouldn't take someone like that. He's a world-class league player. And by world-class, I mean the east coast of Australia and South Auckland and the north of England. So it's not a big world, the rugby league world. But, he's a future superstar for us, I think. And I'd be silly not to take him. Even if he doesn't play, just take him on tour.
Do you think, do you think he'll play? Do you think he deserves, I know a lot of guys are saying, they just won't hand it to him and this and that. Do you think he's good enough to play for the Wallabies?
We're 10th in the world. Yeah, I think that.
Genuine.
I think that if we were in the top 3, top 4 in the world, and we were, one of the world class teams, then maybe it's you don't bring someone like that in. But I don't think, and I think a lot of the guys probably would say it without taking away from what they've done and how they've improved. I don't think anyone's really got a concrete support, and I don't see why you would spend
I agree.
this money. I mean, everyone works hard and all this, but if you've got a talent like that, why would you not just throw him in? I think it's silly.
Yeah, I agree with you. I really think, going on a tour like this, they're not going to waste. He's not going to go there and hold bags. I just can't see him not playing any minutes. I wouldn't be surprised if they've put him on the wing for the last 20 minutes one of these test matches.
He might even play an XV game and then play that first game XV and then straight into a bench spot.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but we're going to want him. We're going to want him. So why would you not play him?
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully he's not going there just to hold bags. Fonz, thoughts on the Aussies, mate?
Yeah, no, I think Ironside's spot on there. I think, he could even go with the 15, obviously the Wallabies 15, and actually get a little bit of game time. And because they're over in Europe, they can actually pull them across anyway, if need be. So, that's not the silliest thing in the world to do that as well. Just so he gets more than 20 minutes off the bench, he could maybe play, 16 minutes and then look maybe to go and play the last couple of games for the Wallabies or something. But I think that was a good shout. I'd like to see Tane Edmund in the Wallaby squad. I think he's had a great season with North Harbour. And obviously a lot of people over there were talking about him from what I've been hearing. So he's definitely one. But I've been hearing whispers too that they're looking towards some of the European players that have just started their European season to obviously come to that Wallaby squad, which is the guys we talked about in previous episodes. Obviously, maybe guys like Pete Samu or obviously Will Skelton's one big name. There's a lot of Aussie boys over there, and it'd be interesting to see who they pick obviously the club season here is finished and Super Rugby's done. You guys touched on it before. The Western Force are playing over in South Africa at the moment in that little, obviously, sort of series with the Cheetahs and the Irish side. So there's guys there. But, yeah, big shout for Tane Edmund. I've been very impressed with him, and I've, ever since he's gone to New Zealand, he's just sort of found a bit of, I don't know, would you say a bit of confidence or just a bit of, he's just enjoying his footy over there. So
I don't think that he had and I think we could all agree, I don't think he had the forward pack under the Waratahs to play how he could play. And now that they've got a bit more danger, he's playing for a team that has a bit of a dangerous forward pack and dangerous people outside him. They don't look for him, and he's so much better when he's running the ball. But everyone, he's born in 2000. He's 24, he's 24 years old. He's so young, and all that pressure's been in that system for so long. So, yeah, I don't know why he wouldn't just give him a shot. He could be the future.
Credit to him for, a lot of the boys that go over there and, they get snubbed from the Wallabies squad. They kind of shut that door on the Wallabies. It's good credit to him to coming back. He's going over there, like he said himself, that he's going to upskill his own skills. So it's good to see him come back, and big things coming, mate. Big things coming. Speaking of big things coming, WXV series, let's go into it. The Wallaroos got up against the Box women only just. I think they got a little bit lucky there in the last few minutes to get away with that penalty at the end to stop I think they only just won by 7 points, and the Box were right attacking the line. So Wallabies snuck through. But Nem's thoughts on the Wallabies, how they're trekking, and do you think they're going to shake up the Rugby World Cup next year, or what do they need if they're not?
Look, it's good again. They've got another win, just like the Wallabies. I think they've just got to keep building, get that win. Lucky not to fumble that in the end. South Africa, their support base, everyone. I think they had one Mr. Sia Kolisi in the crowd there. He probably, his presence, whereas we all know what he does. I just think the Wallaroos are building. I think let's not get too ahead of ourselves. I probably said this last time. They're only going to they just need to keep continuing this. Obviously, World Cup next year. I just think they're starting to, it's good that they're getting these wins. But let's, there's just something missing. There's just something about this team that I don't know what it is. And I don't know. Maybe it's consistency but it's just something missing. I think once they find out whatever it is, I think they're going to come good. But, again, wingers are on fire, back three. But again, it's just good to get the win. Just keep building. We've got a long way to go. And for start, they obviously want to get to XV1. Is that right? Get promoted. Yeah. So,
Fonz, your thoughts on the squad? Your sister's played, so you've watched a lot of WXV. Do you think the Wallabies are going to shake up the Wallaroos are going to shake up the World Cup next year, or do they need something, like Nem said, that something's missing?
It's still obviously over a year away. Yeah. I think it's good for them that they're playing in XV2 and not XV1. And get some of these, obviously go to somewhere else over in South Africa and just experience something different. But also just to get a couple of wins under your belt, and get the team morale up. I would. They played well. Obviously, the first half was very good. They nearly let it slip at the end, like them said before. Who's the fullback? The 18-year-old, the young.
I don't think she's 18.
Caitlin
Holtz from the Waratahs.
Yeah. Man, she's one player to watch out in the future for sure. To be that age and obviously have that sort of head at the back, she's actually been very impressive there. She almost set up one of the great tries, and then I think Cecilia Smith owes her a drink because she dropped the ball over the line. I don't know if you saw that. It was just good hands down the side. But again, Maya Stewart, she's just, you can't teach speed, isn't it? And every time she gets the ball in a bit of space, she just opens up the field. So, I agree with Nems. It's good that they're winning, but obviously they're missing something. I'm not too sure if it's just a bit of just been a bit more accurate in a few areas of the field. Not just the Wallaroos, I think all them in the Black Ferns as well.
Yeah.
They've both been, I think, still a bit soft at the breakdown. I think we've talked about this a couple of weeks ago. And you can see it in a lot in the Southern Hemisphere team, just being real accurate and just being very clean with obviously set piece and just those little areas around there just to give that clean ball to your back. So
yeah, good stuff there. I did say Caitlin Holst was pretty good about a year ago, and thanks to Sione for that little inside scoop with that. But I think, yeah, like I would probably say something, like all these Tier 1 nations, I think South Africa probably fallen behind the women's game, and now they're starting to catch up. And I tell you what, like if we're scared of Fiji and the men's, I think we've got to be scared of South African women's side because they just they just lacked a few things that can be fine tuned. I think they just need be a little bit fitter around the park. But there's some of their raw talent and like just some of the size of the girls they've got around the park. Like they're going to be a force to be reckoned with in a couple of years. And I know that 50% of our viewers on YouTube are South African, and I am really pulling for them because I think it's a developing program. I've seen that there's a bit more funding going there, and having Sarah at the ground reminded me of rocking up to Sunday Sevens for the Norse women's. Similar kind of aura around me rocking up there to see her. But, mate, awesome to see him supporting the game and a little bit different. But, I mean, it'd be good to see that support coming for the Wallaroos. And I know it's coming, but, yeah, I mean, the South African, they're going to be a side to be reckoned with in the coming years. As this funding kind of comes to them, and it's going to continue the growth of the women's game in South Africa.
Yeah.
Just one thing, when after the game, like the South African women's team, the Springboks, are they called the Springboks? South African Springboks?
Bok women.
Bok women, yeah. Like, it just, they just like, it was just a game. And then they were just, enjoy they're just a happy bunch.
Yeah.
Like, I'd love to be in a team when you lose a game like that. Like, they were dancing and, embracing the crowd, and the crowds were embracing them. It was good to see. Like, the vibe was pretty good. It looked good on TV, like the Bok women's side. So, yeah, like Ironside said, they are going to be dangerous one day.
Yeah.
And it's actually scary, to be fair, because
it's not far off either.
Yeah.
It's not far off.
Well, I think they deserve to celebrate because the average points between Wallaroos and the Bok women the last few years was like 50 points between them. So, and to come within 7 points. And another thing I wanted to mention, Wallaroos don't have any of our sevens, Aussie sevens girls. All the other teams, including the Bok women, had their sevens girls included in their squads. And as obviously those teams are looking a lot better. Even the USA team, who are in WXV1 for the first time, they're looking decent as well. And Ireland, a lot of their back rowers and some of the backline players are from the sevens. I know it's a little sticky one with our Aussie sevens girls, and they're only just starting preseason now. Do you think they're going to get a few of them? Because I know we had 2 last time with Shani and Bientarita. Do you reckon we're going to get any next year?
No.
I don't think we will, but I think we definitely should.
Yeah.
I don't it's not a World Cup year. Sorry, it's a World Cup year next year. It's not an Olympics year.
Yeah.
Like, why would we not take some of that talent? And that's not to take away from the girls who are in the Wallaroos now. I mean, it's just going to make more competitive for positions, and they're already contracted to Australia. They're full-time professionals. I don't see why it's why they can't. And I think that the sevens game to 15s game in the men's is so much different. But I actually think that in the backs and the sevens to 15 in the women's is actually not that different. The 15s women's is actually really fast-paced game out back, out wide. It actually suits sevens players more than it would going the other way around. So I don't see why we wouldn't have some of those players. I mean, Levi we don't need wingers or fullbacks really, but like a Levi on the wing, like you wouldn't say no to that, to have that type of caliber of person in your squad.
Yeah, I'd say Tarita would be back because that was her first sort of 15s in the last World Cup, and she was by far one of the best players in the team. But I'd say just like in Ireland, we need a back row. I don't know if there's any back rowers in that sevens team at the moment. You guys think of any back rowers that would play 15's back row?
No.
I'd like to see Levi actually in the back row.
Yeah.
She's so bloody fit and she's so tall.
No, I think it's Tegan. Tegan will probably be better because she's better over the ball.
Yeah, Tegan. Yeah, Tegan.
She'd be open side probably.
But I would say this: they obviously in the past they haven't obviously the sevens girls haven't been forced to play for the Wallaroos, but they have been asked on occasions whether or not they want to play for them. Look, that World Cup, it's around about this time next year, maybe just maybe September, but it's definitely not in the sevens circuit because Dubai is the first one, and that's not till December.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Charlotte
I don't know
did
how.
say she. Remember when Charlotte re-signed? She said that she wouldn't mind being part of the Rugby World Cup for 15s when she re-signed with Aussie Rugby.
What about this thought? What about if, obviously, the guys have got whiffed at the Rugby World Cups next year, that we might even get some league converts just to come over for the year playing a World Cup?
I don't know if we need.
Clip that. Fonz caught some strays when we said that last time. Jesus.
Because we still got a lot of players injured. Like we've got Emily Chancellor, she's the 7. She's injured. Piper Duck, she's injured. Talakai hooker, she's injured.
I like to see Grace Hamilton come back too.
Yes.
Grace Hamilton.
Grace, get her back.
Grace Hamilton for sure.
Yeah, she's a machine.
Yeah, and then I think there's still some smoky talent over in Western Force. They're doing some decent recruiting, and they're going on tour in Japan, I think, now as well. So
they must be cashed up, eh?
Yeah, they've got bloody Twiggy, mate.
Jeez.
That's why.
Yeah.
Like, there's no other Super Rugby team that's going on tours besides. I get it last year or a few years when they were coming back in, but man, they're just doing it for fun now.
Seen a few Waratahs on their own private tour of Germany, but it's not too much rugby getting played.
Yeah, I've got a few of those snaps, and they're definitely not rugby. Different balls.
Anyways, and then we'll go over the Blackburns. They've lost 2 in a row against some decent opposition. England obviously proved that they're best in the world. I don't think they're flashy like the Black Ferns are, but they just get it done. Nems, your thoughts on the Black Ferns and England game?
Yeah, the biggest difference for me was a set piece.
Yeah,
like I think we spoke about this, Font. Just the accuracy at the breakdown, onside, just the way the scrum, their lineouts, it's typical Northern Hemisphere rugby, but they do it so well.
Yeah.
And I just don't think New Zealand were ready for it. Over this side, we always, it's always New Zealand's that team that does that over on this side of the world. Just for me, was the biggest difference was a set piece and urgency.
Yeah.
And to score 9 tries, against the New Zealand side, it's not a fluke. Like, it's England are the real deal, and again, they're starting to build up for World Cup next year. They're definitely going to be one of the favourites to win. And if they play like that, continue to play like that, they're going to be dangerous.
Yeah. Fonz, what are some of the things that you notice in the game that the girls kind of, need to improve a lot? Like, I noticed, like, the starting halves, I know they're still young. I think they're both still only probably 20 or just under 20. I know they kind of, under pressure, they didn't really do too well. And then when they kind of brought in Hahai off the bench, they got a bit more quicker ball from half. And then did you not notice that, or did you notice any other things?
Well, yeah, they are quite young, King and Joseph, both 9 and 10 there. I do think, though, it's good for them to be playing in this now and getting this game time before World Cup. But also, if you're going back to quick ball, that goes back to what Nems was saying with the breakdown, and obviously having clean ball, accurate over the breakdown. I've noticed it's just been a trend lately. It was like that against Ireland, and I saw glimpses of that. They've had some good passages in play when they've scored some real brilliant tries, and then they've let in some soft tries there, you see. But that that English pack is ruthless, and when they roll their sleeves up, do their lineouts, their maws, they're a very hard team to stop. And it was the same thing 4 years ago when Black Ferns were heading into the World Cup in New Zealand, and they got walloped. It was just the Forge were just beating them up. And, some of it's a bit of an attitude thing, obviously a bit of technical things as well over there. But also I think the number 8, Kaipo Olsen, I thought she played well. Yeah, she carried hard off number 8. I didn't think she played in that first test against Ireland. So to see her come on and she ran over the halfback in that first try. But also the winger for England, Ali Dunn, she's fast. She is fast. I think she might have scored a hat trick, 2 or 3 tries on the weekend.
She got 2 and then Breach got 3.
Yeah, so, she is fast for England. England's got some fast wingers out there and they got some big forwards. So, look, that England versus Canada this week, because Canada are undefeated still. Yeah. They haven't lost. So, Canada versus England in Canada, there'll be a few people rock up to that game. So, it'll be great this week.
Outside, your thoughts on half of your Black Ferns?
I just think that it just shows, and to reiterate again, like, investment in women's sport equals results, and like we're having an issue over here. Like England invested really early and have had a professional comp and a professional setup in their women's side, and it's not the money that their girls are getting paid, it's the time that they're getting to work on their skills. And like they are like any good Northern Hemisphere side, South African side that plays that, they dictate the pace of that game. And they don't want to play a fast game with the Kiwis if they don't want to get into a scrap like that with the kick and chase and all that. They plug corners, they win set piece, and they play what people would say is boring rugby, but they play winning rugby. And like you see that and that's purely comes from the investment that the English rugby has put into it by having this professional comp they've got over there. And countries can't compete with that. Whilst New Zealand is catching up, they still don't have that level of investment that the English side have, and that's the biggest difference I see in the development of their game.
Yeah, I would have liked the Black Ferns to actually exit better, because it looks like they're just trying to play in their own half, play out of the 22, instead of even just what all the other teams are doing, catching the ball in the 22, calling the mark off the kickoff and just kicking it, because England did it a few times, that new rule.
That rule.
It's funny you say that, like that the Black Ferns were doing that, because I think they're used to getting away with it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like they do it against Australia, they do it against, I guess not as weaker sort of teams. But when you come against teams like that, the question is now, what's your plan B? So, and I think England and good Northern Hemisphere teams are really good in their attention to details when it comes to the structure of the game and how to play, because then they would have studied how New Zealand plays, so they would have known, look, we take this away from them, they've got nothing else. And you've seen that with 9 tries, you get what I mean? And this is why Northern Hemisphere teams, like Ironside said, to us it looks boring. It's boring rugby. But if you actually study it and experience it, and it's actually pretty smart, like how they do it, if you do it well, and they're good at that.
And you've been coached by plenty of different nationality coaches, but I think that we've all been coached by different nationalities. If you get taught by a Northern Hemisphere coach, I don't know how many times you run through an exit where you're meant to be in an exit, and you think it's so boring, but it's so second nature to those guys that when we catch the ball outside the 5, that person kicks, exactly where you are in that kick chase or what's going to happen. It's that attention to detail is something that they've definitely got, down pat.
Because the difference is between us and them, we're probably over here, this side of the world, is probably more skillful, right? Like natural talent. So that we're not afraid to throw the ball around. Whereas over there, with the weather and the skill level isn't as good, but like I said, the attention to details. And one of the best coaches I've been coached under was Steve Borthwick. And the way him and George Ford and the sort of people that he had in those positions, mate, if you can pick George Ford's brain, same thing. It's just, but they do it so good. And like, again, England is,
they got quarterbacks at 10.
Exactly. That's the word for it. No, it's true.
But I think they looked a lot better now under, who's that? Is it John Mitchell, the coach now, the England Red Roses? They used to coach
John
the All
Mitchell.
Blacks.
He was the All Black coach back in 2003.
Yeah, they're looking a lot flashed than they did when they did lose the last World Cup. So, mate. But this weekend, like you said before, England versus Canada, 1 versus 2 in the rankings. Both undefeated in WXV1. Both probably play similar. Canada's really, really good because they're professional. Their contracted players are the 15s and the 7s together. So that's why they've got all the 7s girls in. And mate, it's looking good. But Nems, who do you think's going to get this one? Big game.
Look, I just think England will be a bit. I think whoever wins a set piece, and the breakdown, whoever wins that is going to win the game. And I just think England might have the edge. Yeah. I think they'll just. Like Fonzie said, they'll just play patient. They'll dictate the speed, and they're very good at doing that. So if they feel that Canada's Canada don't kick the ball as much as England. So I'd imagine England will plug the corners, turn them around, and then slow rugby. And then I just think England will be too strong.
Yeah, Fonz.
I agree. I think England will win, but I think this game's going to be close. England, it depends on who dictates the game because that Canadian team is no slouches. When they played the Black Ferns in Christchurch, they literally at the breakdown, what we talked about before, were up for it, and they were just literally winning the contact in the gain line. And if Canada can carry on that momentum that they've done all year, then it's going to be very close. I just think England. They get a few penalties. They kick to the corner, same thing. Get their maul going. It's hard to defend that. So England, but I have them close.
Yep. And onside.
I like this whole different world of rugby we've got with the women's. Is that there's a northern hemisphere, southern hemisphere, but then we've got an American style now, the North American style, and the Canadian USA team play such a similar kind of style. But what I like about the Canadians, and I think if England doesn't shut this down, they're really good over the ball in their defence. And they've always, I can't remember their names. I'm getting there. I'll get there eventually. But Canada's got a really good in defence to get turnovers and pilfers. And I don't know. It's in Canada. They've been playing some good rugby. England's just played against the Black Ferns. It could be an upset. If I was a betting man, which I am, I'd put it on Canada just for a little close game, but a little upset. Little upset, I think.
And a wager.
I'm with Ironside here.
Smoky.
But I think England dangerous, especially their bench. I'm a big fan of Faunati off the bench for England. She did really well, a couple of steals off the bench against the Black Ferns. But I'm going Canada. I think Canada even rested some of their players from the last game because this is going to be one of the big ones of the year. So I'm going to go Canada. So make sure you watch it on Rugby Pass TV. Let's head over to URC. Fonz, take it away with our URC update.
So just over the weekend, look, I'm not going to go through the actual scores, but I would say all the South African teams won on the weekend, and they weren't even close. They gave hidings out on the weekend. All the South African teams won.
Yes, man.
Hidings.
We talked about the Welsh team. Obviously, the national team's been struggling. Obviously their domestic teams have also been struggling. They've lost all their games on the weekend. All the Welsh teams. The Italian teams as well, Zabri and Benetton, they lost on the weekend as well. So, and then all the Irish teams nearly won, except for Ulster, who got thumped by the Bulls in Pretoria. But it's interesting now because the Springboks have now that the Rugby Championship's over. It'd be interesting to see some of these guys get funneled back into the URC now. Yeah. So it'd be good to see that. Also, this week, Munster are playing Leinster over in it's at Croke Park. They've sold over 70,000 tickets already, and it will sell out. It would be 82,000 for the local derby. I did put up a post on our group chat last week about obviously the attendance in the URC. They've been pretty average. Yeah. But this obviously will bump up the average. But again, it goes back to just derbies. Derbies, you get more people to games because obviously this means more. But other than that, with the South African teams, like I don't know if you saw the Lions played Edinburgh on the weekend in Johannesburg. It was 45-0 at half time. It was one of the biggest, obviously, first half scorelines we've seen. Look, Nems, you played over in South Africa. You know what it's like over there. It's pretty hard to play. I've noticed the URC teams, the European ones going out of South Africa, they've struggled since their inceptions into the URC. So, look, it's only round 3 in the URC. It's early. Leinster's obviously leading the pack again. So hopefully we'll see if they can hold it, because every year since they've led the comp, they've always tripped over at the finish line. Also there's a lot of Aussie and Kiwi boys still playing over there. You're looking at the team list. Connacht have a few. Obviously, Mac Hansen's still there. Yeah. Him and obviously Bundy is there as well. But yeah, at this stage, the pace setters are obviously the South Africans and the Irish teams. But the South African teams also had a bye in the first round because of the end of the championship, rugby championship.
Yeah, I caught some of the games. The Lions team, there's the winger Van der Veer. I think he made his debut for the Springboks against Wales earlier in the year. Mate, it's like they got Justin Colby, they got Adamson, then they got him as well, and I think he's still late 20s, so he's a late bloomer. But mate, they got some freaky wingers. And then shout out to friend of the pod, my namesake Sione Tupolotu for Glasgow, mate. He had a cracker as well.
I mean, all I'm hearing is that we need our South African Bruce to come back to Super Rugby. It seems a bit too easy, that URC. So, if you guys want to come back, we're happy to have you. I wouldn't mind going to South Africa. We'll see you back soon.
Even get the cheaters involved. Yeah. Get them back here. So at least then they got best of both worlds.
Yeah, at least we get a win for sure when we go over there.
I would say one thing with them being in the URC, yes, the time zone's a good thing for South Africa, but the time of the year that they're playing, so they've just finished the Rugby Championship. Now they're starting their domestic comp, where when they used to be in Super Rugby, they had be Super Rugby, then obviously the July Test Series, then the Rugby Championship. So they've actually, because they're in the Northern Hemisphere comps now, they're actually doing it reverse. So it's
doesn't seem to affect them too much.
No, it doesn't. Not one bit at all.
Half of them in Japan on holiday.
It's a lot of rugby for them. It's a lot of rugby. That URC, there's I think 16 teams in it, and they play 2 rounds.
Yeah.
So it's a big competition.
Yeah. And then here you have the All Blacks resting players during Super Rugby.
Wow. Yeah, it's stupid. Absolutely.
Just going back on that, on getting a South African team, I remember reading up on an article, Francois Steyn, who's now the Cheetahs GM, or he's one of the, he's on the board. My old teammate, he's played them, but he came out and said, look, they're working hopefully on trying to get the Cheetahs in the Super Rugby comp. Now, I know that's going to be hard for them because they're going to have to travel a lot, but who said, it'd be a good idea to even maybe get 2 teams so that, you do a 2-weeker sort of thing. I mean, obviously logistics is going to be a nightmare, but
I'd love to take the Cheetahs. The Cheetahs would be awesome into Super Rugby. We got 11 teams, so we should, to be honest, the comp should be an even number. Obviously, what's happened with the Rebels has happened. But Francois Steyn's timing on these comments couldn't be any better, because right now they're negotiating the new TV rights deal in 2026. Yeah. So they can add more teams into the competition. The Southern Kings, they struggled when they were here the last time, but Port Elizabeth's another big city in South Africa. Yeah. So I don't know how they want to go. Cheetahs would be definitely one.
For sure.
Also, like those South African teams, I still remember one of the funniest things I've seen. They used to come over and they do their 3-week tours, and the Caterpillar, when you want to get the box kick out, they've all come in behind each other, and it looks like they're all got each other, swiftly. And the commentator goes, "Yeah, it's been a long tour for the boys," and I mean that just points out the point that they can do 3 weeks here, and they can this needs to be worked in the schedule: 3 weeks here, 3 weeks at home, or something like that. But that was pretty common for from memory that the South African, the Bulls would come here, they'd play the Reds, Tars, and maybe the Brumbies all in 3 weeks, base themselves here. And, similar thing with the Tars would go over there and do a similar thing. So I don't see how travel's an issue, but it's always been an issue. So I can't see it not being.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah, that was a good update. And then we head over to English Prem. Nems, what's going on over there, mate?
Only one away team won. Leicester Tigers. So Leicester Tigers got up over Newcastle up in Newcastle 42-10. I'll go through them. Northampton beat the Saints 33-29. Sale 31-27 over Gloucester. Sarries 29-14. But for me, with the match of the round, for me was Bath versus Bristol. 36. Bath were I don't know if you saw the game. I think it was like 26-0 or something. They came out firing, and for those who don't know, this is a big derby for them. Bristol and Bath, and everyone wants to beat Bath. I don't know if you guys know, but in Bath, it's known as the posh.
Yeah.
There's no house there under
beautiful
£3 million. The competition's actually like the fact that. I don't know if you guys read about it. The Premiership, I think 2 or 3 clubs are struggling.
Yeah, struggling
financially. But you see the crowds, it's a shame because I think when you hear stuff like that, usually it actually, it turns out that they are broken. Then so don't be surprised if they lose a team again this year. But for me, my player of the week was number 13 from Bristol. Bernard van Rensburg. Not too many people know him. There's not much. He's South African. He played in Japan, had a stint in Japan, played for London Irish, and he's now at Bristol. He's got the most dirtiest rat's tail or mullet. Oh my word! But mate, he killed it. He killed it for Bristol, and there's not much to him, but when he tackles and he's defense, he's not afraid to have a go. And I think it's that Afrikaans in him that. Doesn't give a cuck, just has a go, eh? So he's a tough oak, eh? Jeez, I just sounded like anyway. So he's my guy in Bristol. Congratulations to Bristol. They actually did it's funny they did this, but
the post,
they did their walk, their team song in the middle of the field at Bath. So the posh Bath people wouldn't have been happy with that, but led by Alice Gange, none other. So
bit of banter,
that's
ain't it?
That was pretty cheeky from Bristol to be doing that.
But that's pretty good from your team to get that away win without a coach in the coaching box. Hope you're doing well.
That's right.
2 weeks off, mate.
So Peter Hewitt, assistant coach, probably gave the reins to the lads and said, it is a tough place to go. So. Yeah. I don't know if Czechs did that deliberately, so they didn't have to sit on the bus for 4.5 hours up to Newcastle. But I must say, though, a shout-out to Anthony Watson. He came back from a 6-month injury. He played, obviously, last week, and he's come back. He scored a try on the weekend, so good to see him back on the field. He's good to see him back and injury-free. Hopefully he can be injury-free and back in an England jersey.
Yeah. Nice. And for the 10% viewers that are from the UK, make sure you get out to English Prem game and keep those clubs afloat. And then over to France. Alex Ironside, take it away. Top 14.
How do I pronounce his name again before I go?
Katae.
Say it. Shut up. How do I go?
Kaitu.
Kaitu.
There you go.
No, don't pause it, man.
We're leaving you this all week.
Anyway, probably been stitched up here, but anyway, we're going through the French rugby. Racing beat Venice by 27-24, and Kaitu probably got that wrong. Mate, the team of the week for them, Aussie, as well. A couple close games this week. Probably the game of the round was Clermont beating the champs Toulon 19-18. Plenty of Aussies involved in that as well. And then another one, quick shout, another few close games, but Bordeaux got over 30-27 win, and La Rochelle beat Lyon 43-22. Perpignan beat Pau 11-10. Fuck, I'm bad at pronouncing the French accent.
That's first go back.
You said Vannies and
Vannies, yeah. I saw those We're learning.
We're learning French. I'm starting to get my
c'est pas grave, mec, c'est pas grave.
Samoan, Tongan, Fijian pronunciation.
C'est pas grave, allez.
But yeah, look, just French rugby. I'm actually a bit angry at them. We didn't talk about it, but I'm not sending their top 20 players to New Zealand next year because they got their comp. Yeah. I mean, you can't be doing that. French rugby seems to be running world rugby. Maybe win a World Cup, and then you can start dictating that, and we'll let that go. And just a bit off it.
Well, Dupont can't come because he's busy doing a tour of America next year, mate. Doing the NFL stuff, mate.
You know what? Though, take it away, in saying that, right? It just goes to show how strong the French top 14 is. Like, I don't know if you know, but Orange, which is a phone company that runs the top 14, they're throwing in, like, their TV rights is ridiculous. The amount of money they get, right? It's massive. So, you know, like I get it. New Zealand, I think New Zealand are threatening to take him to court or whatnot. Like, it just
international court.
Yeah, but France, they did that to the Wallabies as well. It's like they don't care. You know what I mean? And
that's
I mean, they don't. So like, and I can tell you now, this team that goes, if they go to the All Blacks, like no one's going to watch. No one's going to go. Like Fonz, you probably. No, like I guess the All Blacks, you're supporting the All Blacks, but this French side that will go there next year, some of them I reckon will still be academy, which they did this year for the Argentinian tour.
I'll just add on something, and a lot of people on this side of the world won't know. So over in France, they're the only country in the world that take their domestic competition more serious than the international rugby.
Yeah, it's like the NRL.
That's where, just like the NRL, NFL, all the top leagues in the world, that's where their money comes from. Their French top 14. They've actually come out and said this year and next year and even maybe 2026, 2025, 2026, that they won't be sending their best players on the July test window. They've actually openly come out and said it. At first, as a Kiwi, I heard of it. I was quite disappointed, but when I've actually thought about it, I don't blame them. Because their French top 14 competition runs deep. It runs, so the final for the French top 14 is a week before the first test of the July series. So if you're a team like Toulouse, who's going to come across, who's most probably going to make a final, a lot of those players are going to fly over to New Zealand and then play the All Blacks. Now, obviously people are going to be disappointed, but that's their moneymaker. It's the French top 14. They make more money than any other domestic comp by a country mile. And that's why half our players go play over there. Look, it's against World Rugby. I know it's against World Rugby. But
is it really?
World Rugby, because they have the tests, obviously in July, clubs can't have a say on, there's a certain window there where clubs can't overrule international duties.
Yeah, right.
And French top 14 clubs have said, no, stuff that. We're not listening to you.
Yeah.
We're doing their own thing. So,
well, you know, the thing is over there, like, I guess the coach has come out, right? He said it. So technically, they're not, I don't think.
They're not hiding it. You think about it, this year they sent a B team to Argentina, they sent a B team here in 2022, and they've always sent weaker sides. Let's just say they brought a B team to New Zealand next year. They're still going to be strong.
They're still going to be strong.
They're still going to be strong.
They beat Argentina in that first game.
But you're not going to have DuPont. You're not going to have your big names come over. No. Do you think that's going to affect the crowd? Do you reckon?
I don't think it will affect the crowd because they'll get people to the All Black games. Obviously, they're going to be disappointed that the best players are coming. But at the same time, if you're an All Blacks, right, I don't know if the New Zealand rugby can back away from it or not. I'm not too sure.
Yeah.
I mean, but we cannot be surprised about this. Not at all.
No.
You cannot.
Yeah, but this
It's
is
been
the
happening
thing.
for years.
Their reasoning is that, they want to rest their players. Now we're learning some stuff about this French comp. Their players don't play away games. They don't play every second week. They're not playing full seasons.
Yeah.
So, like, this whole myth to my head that, geez, they play all these hard seasons, a tough season. They don't. These top players aren't playing that whole season. And, I mean, if you're a country that spends that much money on rugby and you still haven't won a World Cup, I can see why you wouldn't want to go to the international game. And I'm having to dig at them because it's not right. The pinnacle of rugby union should and always will be international rugby.
Yeah.
And it doesn't just devalue that. It doesn't just devalue the All Blacks. It just devalues international rugby in general. And it's wrong. It shouldn't have happened. And I don't know how you can fix it, but like, I mean, the All Blacks play France in July. Maybe they should just put a second-rate side on then. Don't put any of their big names. But, I mean, it's not going to make a difference. But, yeah, I just don't think that's I think that's – I can't cop that. I don't think it's right. And
I think the big issue here is that the international calendar needs to be rearranged and fixed and aligned together. That's the biggest problem. Is you got domestic comps all in different times of the year. You got international windows, and you know, a lot of the island teams can't get their players over during some of those windows as well. So, World Rugby need to actually realign the whole structure of the competitions and talk to obviously the different unions and get it all lined a lot better, so you don't have this issue.
Yeah.
Imagine the Blues playing the Force in like January though. Oh my God, 40 degrees. Like if that's what's going to happen, is this shit?
Playing Auckland, mate, it was still only be 20 degrees, mate.
Yeah,
yeah. I thought you said it was going to be 40 points. Sorry.
Whoa.
No, that's what I thought you were going to. And you said degrees. I was like, oh, yeah.
You're right. Ironside, you're right. I mean, international rugby's always been the big thing for rugby. But I do think we need to think about our domestic comps and look after them a lot better. I think that's where rugby shoots themselves in the foot. And the French rugby is the only comp that does it.
There's my French domestic rugby rap.
Nice. And that was our Around the Grounds, but then we've got three viewers' questions. We've got three viewers' questions. And if you're watching this and you want to send a question, just write it down in the comments or head to our IG. And first question is, what position do you think Joey Manu will play? And if the All Blacks don't want him, do you think he'll be keen to join his mate Swaliti in the Wallabies Gold? So those watching that don't know who Joey Manu is from the NRL. That's the rugby league competition here in Australia. He's been at one of the best teams in the league for the last few years, and he's been one of the top players. He's a Kiwi, but he's been in Australia for probably over 10 years now. He's in Japan now with Toyota Viblitz. Nems, you've been over there. What position do you think he's going to play, and how do you think he's going to go?
First of all, I think it's a smart move from him to go to Japan, and learn to play. I mean, I'm sure he's played it when he was young, but I think going to Japan and learning to play union there, but learning it under Steve Hansen, and you got guys like Aaron Smith and some of the big names that are there. I think it's masterstroke. I think he's going to do what won't take his sort of play. It won't take long. Kind of like a SBW sort of player. I'd like to see him play 13. I just think his defensive game is solid. Would be very handy. Attacking 13s, let's face it, don't pass it. So he'll be perfect for that position. And I just think he's look. You spoke about him playing the All Blacks. I think he'll go here, and Steve Henson will be in his ears, telling him, "Listen, if you're good enough, go." I think this is a trial for him. And he'll probably earn $3 million just on this trial, so it's not a bad trial to have. But I don't see him playing All Blacks. To be fair, I just think the All Blacks is different to the Wallabies. I just think you've got to go to New Zealand from the get-go and try and, it's not as easy just to go over there because there's players playing in in ITM that are just as good, but don't have the profile that he does. But he's a good player. I just think I think, and I hope I'm proven wrong, I'd like to see him at the international level. I reckon he's come over, earned some money. He's done everything in league, and I reckon he'll go back. But again, I'd like them to play international. I don't know. I think Japan is a bit of a retirement fund paycheck, and let's face it, it's good. If you want to go and earn money, I think it's great, and he deserves that.
Yeah.
What
if he falls in love with the game? You've been over there? When did you go? Did you go over there when you were fairly young?
Yeah, I went over the 2010 to 2014.
What's some tips for him, just in case he's watching? How to make the most of the time in Japan while he's there? I think he's single. He's probably traveling by himself. Yeah,
so stay out of Roppongi. They're down in Nagoya anyway. So, but yeah, stay out of Roppongi in Tokyo. And I know he's a rapper. He likes rapping, so they've got some good karaoke bars down there.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, so I thought I was Whitney Houston one stage down there, but no, I think he'll enjoy it. It's good culture, and good on him. I'm excited to see it. So hopefully, Stan, director, if you're watching this, get it on, Stan. Come on.
Oh, it's free on Rugby Pass for us.
You got Whitney's hair.
Hey,
you got Whitney's hair.
Oh, you talk about her husband, Bobby.
Yeah, just to pull a bit of a Nems and a bit of a, not rugby friends, but I remember playing against him when he was playing SG ball for the Roosters.
Carry on.
Back in the days, back in my league days when I was 18. Mate, he's a big unit. Like he's tall. I think you don't realise how tall he is. I reckon he'd almost be at that 100 kilo mark. Like, I mean, at this late stage of his career, they'll probably put him on a wing. But I mean, if he's going to have a crack, I'd put him at like inside or outside centre, because it's too hard to put, I think, a league player into a middle where they have to hit rucks as an inside outside centre potentially. And I don't actually think, I could be wrong, but I don't actually think he played much union growing up. I think he was pretty strict. I think he's pretty strictly league from what I've read. I could be wrong.
I disagree with him playing at 13. I think he doesn't have to do much. I mean, obviously he's a big guy, like Ironside was saying. He can tackle, he can move, but he does it in league where he opens out his wingers. So he'll try to draw the outside winger and flick over, or try to draw in and open up that winger. So I'd like to see him at 13. I think you're right, Nems, in terms of if he wants to play for the All Blacks, you'd have to go to the New Zealand either, and have about 2 to 3 years.
He's 28, so like he's older.
Yeah, you just look at Roger Tuivasa-Sheck. He went to New Zealand and then COVID hit. He missed the NPC season, and then he was behind the 8 ball in terms of game time. So I'd assume that Joe Money would be going to Japan, and I'm not too sure what he'll do after that. But 13 for sure.
Interesting. All right. And do you think, Nems, not Nems, Fonz, you've been here, for a decent amount of time. It's just like Joey. Do you think that if the Wallabies throw that carrot in front of him, that he'll come?
Oh, just personally, it'd be just on what Joey's heart is. I know he was brought up in Tokoro, in the Waikato. But I think Ironside's right. I think he did come from a rugby league background. He might have played some union when he was in his juniors. I'm not too sure. It depends on his heart and obviously what he wants to do. If he came back and played for a Super Rugby team in Australia, then who knows? That's something that only he can answer. He might just want to go to Japan, earn some good coin, make some good memories, and go back to the league.
Sorry, mate. You wouldn't be angry with him if he wanted to do that.
Yeah, we should try and get him on. Be angry at all. Yeah,
I think we'll reach out, try and get him on the show one time. See what's going on. Okay, next question. Thoughts on Sexton's Sookfest of a novel and the Ioane brothers trolling on the internet?
Go on, Ironside. We'll give it to you, Ironside.
Yeah, you go.
I think it's just proven that he's a bit of a sook, and I've always kind of thought that as a fan. Mate, great player. I just think that, like, He looked like he said something first in that Rugby World Cup, and he always, if you watch games of him, and I don't know if anyone's like them you play against, he just looks like he's yapping all game, and I think that's still one of the greatest sledges from Rieko Ioane. Like, and obviously he's still in his head. I'm in your head, zombie.
We're going to get copyright. That's too good.
But I mean, yeah, he's a sook. He's a bit of a sook. I don't know. Like, if you're going to write a book about your career, I think that's the best way to sell it, is to sell that part that everyone wants to know about. So maybe he's just a smart businessman. But yeah, look, I mean, you can't be giving it out and then carrying on like a pork chop like that. But that's what Ireland fans have been doing lately. South African brews, I'm on your side.
Nev's probably the only one here that got a book that worth reading. Do you have any? Would you have any stories like this? If you had a book, or if you're writing a book now?
I'd have I actually got a book on the way, guys. So I'll let you definitely not having a sook on it about, or not having a cry about. There's a lot of things on there going on, but look, I just think I'm fortunate enough to play against him. He's a great player, great operator. You know, let's not take away the fact that he was one of the best 10s in the world.
Yeah.
A bit like who's the 10, 5'8"? What's his name? I forgot his name. Played for Wales.
Jones?
No, just now. The Welsh 10.
Oh, the one on the podcast.
Petrel.
Beggar.
Petrel?
Den Beggar.
Dan Bigger, yeah.
Dan Bigger. Oh, mate. I think Dan Bigger is worse than... and I've played against both of them. Oh, my word. So, yeah, no, I just...
Finn Russell talks shit.
Yeah, but the thing with Johnny's I think you said the science side. He's a businessman. Like, let's face it. Like, a lot of people, how much more books would he have sold?
Yeah.
After
100%.
that. You know what I mean? So
we'll have to plan one when you drop yours. We'll have to plan one when you drop yours, mate.
Yeah, I've got to say something. What can I say?
Me not scoring that try when you offload it to me. Hopefully makes it. Yeah, hopefully that makes it.
That's at the back. You know, the one that finishes off.
But yeah, I like on that from Debs is that, like, he's a business, but he just, if you see him interviewed, he's like a pretty dry. He's not like, doesn't seem that type of charismatic type of bloke. So he's an operator. You got to give him credit where credit's due. But smart.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. I didn't look up to where to order his book from as soon as I read that, because I was like, it's a good read.
Question I want to ask our South African listeners. Comment below and be honest if you've bought his book, because I'm telling you now, there'd be a lot of South Africans that would have bought his book just to either, you know, and I could just imagine going, this guy's full of guck, man.
It's probably my most favourite thing is reading the comments on anything in world rugby that has to do with South Africa and Ireland. Yeah. It's just South Africa and Ireland going at each other. It's just it's outstanding.
It's crazy.
All right, and last question. Thoughts on James O'Connor joining the Crusaders? Now, I know the comment section when the Crusaders announced it wasn't good. I think some of the fans over there need to relax. But yeah, Nems, your thoughts on James O'Connor following your footsteps, mate?
Oh, real, mate. He was a bit more well known than I was at the time. But look, for starters, the New Zealand fans need to calm down.
Yeah.
Like, calm his farm, guys. It's just rugby at the end of the day. Yeah. Sorry, Fonz. The Kiwis just get so protective when it comes to talking about rugby. And, like, I live there. And anyway, more about the question was James O'Connor playing the Crusaders. Look, I actually think there's more to it than him going over as a player. We all know he wants to coach at the end of the year. I don't know if you know, but Christchurch produces some of the best coaches ever. You know, you've got Henson, you've got guys who've coached there. You've got Robbie Deans, Wayne Smith, who's been there, Toddy Blackadder. These guys have come out of the Crusaders system. I honestly think he's at the end of his career, as we all know. He's still fit enough to play, and I think his experience is going to be good. But I think I was thinking about this for the last few days. He wants to coach, and I think no better place to go than to learn how to coach than get your personal development or, PD down there for free while playing. And I think the atmosphere, the environment down there, I think he's going to learn. I reckon he's gone there to not only, play, but to work on his coaching skills, hone in on his coaching skills for when he retires. Because, again, Christchurch and the Crusaders and Canterbury, if you're in that system as a player, as a coach, it's breathe rugby, eat rugby, sleep rugby, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when I saw this, I was thinking about it, everyone's like, what does he have to offer? Look, he might not have much to offer as a player in terms of physically, but he's got a lot of experience that he can offer, these young guys. But I think it's going to work more for him than what he's going to add to them, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I just think it's a masterstroke to get over there and learn coaching. And I think I'd love to go there if I had the time to go over to Christchurch and learn how to coach, because that's where all the coaches come from, all the best coaches.
I actually agree with Nems. I think this is a great signing, and we talk about it before. I think Australian players should be able to go to New Zealand, and New Zealand players should be able to go to Australia.
Yep.
It's just stupid.
Man.
We always talk about this, and James O'Connor going to Canterbury. I read some comments in the media, the journos in New Zealand. The New Zealand rugby journos are some of the worst. They put up some pretty toxic stuff, and Wyatt Crockett even talked about it. Your former teammate Nems, obviously he said that they would take some of the another guy's position, a young guy's position. We need to stop looking at Super Rugby like it's a development for the international teams.
Yeah,
if they're making Super Rugby, they've made it. You can't keep thinking that way, that Super Rugby is a development for international rugby. James O'Connor, I think, still got it. I still think he can go there and actually rip up. I still think the only reason I can think of he's not at Queensland is because they got too many fly halves now in Queensland. But I think he could go there and add a huge amount of value to them on and off the field. But also, Canterbury doesn't really have many 10s at the moment. You look through their schoolboy system at Christchurch Boys, Christ College, their school teams aren't doing well. It's actually Nelson College up in Nelson that are actually doing good at the moment. They got the three fly halves they had this year were Taha Kimera, and he wasn't playing very well. And you also had the Riley Hohepa at the Counties. He didn't get much game time. And then the other young boy from up north, he got injured in round one. So they have not actually recovered since Mwanga left and to fill that void. I think him going there is going to add so much to Canterbury. You can't have a pot shot at him taking young guys' talent when this year they took Lee Harpenny.
Yeah,
I mean, they took Lee Harpenny. Exactly. They've taken other players in the past. You could even make the same argument with Ryan Crotty in them.
Yeah.
Even though he's from there. But look, I just think it's stupid that they're talking about him taking another person's position when I think it's a great signing.
He's up on that. Happened to me 2 years ago.
Oh, man. But you're right, Nim. There's too many sooks. There's too many sooks back in NZ. At
he's actually Kiwi as well.
Yeah, mate. It's Look, he's not taking anyone's spot. Guys go over there to play. I mean,
yeah. Ironside, you actually watched his last few. Watched him play against Wales. Do you think he's still got that dog in him?
Yeah, he's still got that. He doesn't have the pace and skill, but doesn't have the pace, but he's still got his skills. He's got one of the best passes you'll see from any rugby player in the world. He can spot like gaps and holes better than anyone. I think that all I'd add is, he's probably, if he is gone over there to coach, it's a good place to go to coach. One, because yes, it's a talent in Canterbury, but also two, there's nothing else to do there but play rugby. It's there's not much going on down there. There's not many distractions. It'll be a bit of a different, be a bit of a different pace for him, but it's a great place to go learn. And I think that we might see James O'Connor, the way he's always played rugby has been very methodical. I think he would be a good coach. We might see him back here, as a skills coach, and you never know, he might be coaching the Wallabies to a World Cup in 2041.
I actually wouldn't be surprised if he starts his coach career in New Zealand.
Yeah.
Potentially an ITM, maybe with Canterbury or something. He's already doing a lot of these coaching clinics anyway, so I wouldn't be surprised if he hones in on his coaching skills over there across the Dutch.
Yeah, nice. Well, see what happens, guys. When you ask questions, you get answers. So make sure you send in your questions for next week. Boys, that's the episode. All we got left is shout-outs. Nems, you want to start us off?
Shout-out to the Melbourne Rebels under-16 team last week. They got their first win. I know the week before they had a tough one against the Tars, getting 100 points put on them. And then they came away with the win in... here against the Force, so it's a huge step for Melbourne Rebels under 16 side. So my shout outs to the Rebels under 16, and particularly number 9, Tusitala, which is his last name. Tusitala. He's a very famous name down here. His old man played down here, played Australian schoolboys as well back in the days. So,
all right, nice. Yeah. Up the Rebels. Fonts, who are you shouting out?
2 shout-outs. One to, obviously, the Waikato women for winning the Farah Parama Cup on the weekend. They beat Canterbury in the final. And the second one is to shout-out is the Australian police are playing New Zealand police in 2 weeks. Here they're playing up at East. So if you want to watch some footy in a couple of weeks on a Tuesday night, it's 6 p.m. kickoff at East. So Australia versus New Zealand police.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah.
Police 10-7.
So if you've got any warrants, don't rock up.
Yeah.
And Alex, shout-outs?
Two shout-outs. One shout-out, I got their jersey on, singlet. Old roommate Tommy Gilbert unfortunately couldn't play, but the Philippine Volcanoes men's and women's have won the trophy to go back into the top tier in the Asian comp, which is where they belong. And big win for them over, I think it was Sri Lanka in the final for the men's. But awesome stuff from the Volcanoes. I got no Filipino in me, but I always wear this shirt. And the Filipinos are proud people. When you see a Filipino, you're wearing a Philippine Volcano shirt, they're very excited. So
I'm married to one. So, yeah, I know very well.
And then the second one is old Norse player. Unfortunately, had a pretty bad neck injury, Dan Salofa, back in the day, and unfortunately ended his rugby career. But over the weekend, I saw he's got into his coaching career, coaching the women's Southern Stars, which is, I think it's the Southern New South Wales and ACT team in the country comp, and they took it out. Dan's a forwards coach, but I mean, we always hear that story. We've all played with a few guys back in our day or against it. Unfortunately, rugby career playing was over, but it's just good to see Dan. He's got a young family. He's out coaching. One of the great men. Came up from Canberra to play at North. But yeah, congratulations to the Southern Stars and especially to Dan as coach.
Nice. Yeah, I wanted to shout out to the Aussie Rugby Shield Championships that was on in Caloundra on the weekend. Special shout out to the Healers, my old Sunny Coast back in the day. So it's good to see Aussie rugby and country rugby still going strong. And then shout out to Freeney. I know he always gets upset when we don't shout out Pack Podcasts, when we always shout out Rugby Heads on the other one. So go if you're up to just listening to some waffle chat, head over to the Pack Podcast. It's in jail only on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. It's not appropriate for YouTube. So guys,
probably not appropriate for Spotify sometimes.
Guys, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.
See you lads.
Cheers, boys. The Wallabies.